Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of the Old Film Podcast. Today, I want to talk about Netflix's garbage original teen movies. And if you're wondering why I sound out of breath, it's because I just recorded this entire episode to realize that my microphone wasn't even turned on. So now we're doing it again. So, obviously, we know that Netflix is one of the world's largest and wealthiest streaming services in the world, having an estimated net worth over $125 billion. It's a great way to watch your favorite movies, and it even produces some awesome original TV shows. The one thing that Netflix absolutely fails to do is create a good, actually, let me rephrase that, create a decent original teen flick. Today on the menu, we're going to rip apart Tall Girl, Sierra Burgess is a Loser, The Kissing Booth, and The Perfect Date. After watching all these movies, I had an epiphany. Netflix should stick to streaming movies and not try to make these horrible teen films. Notice how all these movies I'm listing are rom-coms? Besides the cheesy love story, there's absolutely no intentional comedy in any of these movies. I say intentional because there are so many moments that are so bizarre that I laugh when I'm not supposed to. Let's start with one of the worst movies I've seen in my life, Tall Girl, starring Ava Michelle, who you may have seen in Dance Moms, which we all know what that's about, Griffin Gluck, seen in Why Ham with James Franco, and Big Adolescence with Pete Davidson, and Sabrina Carpenter, seen in Girl Meets World, the flaming pile of garbage remake of Boy Meets World, who obviously does nothing to this already flaming pile of garbage movie. If anything screams white privilege, it's Tall Girl. The whole story is based on a high school girl whose entire personality is her above average height. Yeah, that's it. It's a 90-minute snooze fest about a pretty, skinny white girl whose whole personality is being tall. As a girl who's also tall, I can reassure you that being tall is not a personality trait. I mean, this movie would kind of make sense if she used her height to her advantage and did something great to prove all her bullies wrong, or if she helped other girls who also feel insecure, or even showed her musical talent, as she plays the piano in the movie, to prove to everyone that she's more than just a 6-foot-tall girl. But nope. All she does is complain, get a cliche makeover, and then makes a cheesy speech at the end. In her speech, she talks about how she doesn't care if she's tall or not, but what made her realize that? Her character never goes through anything or has any development in order to get to that point. It's almost as if the writer spent too long trying to complicate her love life between her best friend and the tall foreign exchange student that they forgot the entire point of the movie and had to rush the entire plot in order to get to the final point. If you thought the storyline was the worst part, wait until you see the acting. So if you go on Tall Girl and you look at their Rotten Tomatoes rating, it's literally 44%. Tall Girl is so bad that they got a 44% Rotten Tomatoes rating. So I'm on the Rotten Tomatoes website right now looking at their Tall Girl reviews, and I just saw this review from someone named Caroline Seed, and she took the words right out of my mouth. She said, "From a one-note mean girl stereotype to a complete disinterest in how social media shapes the lives of teens, Sam Wolfson's lackluster script fails to bring anything new or timely to the teen rom-com table." I completely agree with this statement. I think she put it in the best way possible. Now, if we go on the IMDb rating, it's 5.2 out of 10 with over 16,000 reviews. That is insane. And if we look at all the trivia, a worldwide casting call was put out for the role of Jodie, calling females with a height of over 5'10" and over to submit a video audition. 5'10"? They think that 5'10" is above average height. I literally know like 20 girls who are 5'10". I'm almost 5'10". One of the most popular reviews on the IMDb website for Tall Girl is that the Swedish accent was atrocious. That is so funny. So yeah, we know that Tall Girl sucks, the acting sucks, the storyline sucks, there's no character development, it's all cliches, all stereotypes, and it's nothing original. It's basically just a wealthy white girl complaining about her life and doing nothing about it to fix it. And when I say fix it, I don't mean fix her height because you can't do that. I mean, she doesn't do anything for herself to gain confidence or to stand up to her bullies. All she does is make a speech, which obviously is because they didn't have time to get her to do something to gain confidence. So they just put the cheesy speech at the end just to wrap up the movie, which is obviously a really bad way of filmmaking. Okay, I know I said that Tall Girl was one of the worst movies I've ever seen, but Sierra Burgess is a Loser takes the cake. Starring Noah Centineo, Barb from Stranger Things, and every other movie Mean Girl. This movie is literally garbage. Not only is the plotline very dumb, but it's also very problematic. This movie is the story about Sierra, an intelligent girl who is not traditionally pretty. But the only thing ugly about her is how she catfishes a guy for attention and calls it love. The mean girl, Veronica, gives Noah Centineo's character, Jamie, Sierra's number, and he texts Sierra thinking it's Veronica. The problem is, Sierra knows he thinks he's talking to Veronica, but she goes along with it for the sake of male attention. Honestly, this movie wouldn't be so bad if they showed Sierra facing the consequences of doing something as wrong as catfishing. But nope. Her catfishing is justified as she's shown as the victim and we're supposed to feel bad for her. She justifies her catfishing by saying that's okay because she's ugly. And in the end, Jamie and Veronica forgive her because of an average sounding song. The message of this movie is so problematic. It shows that no matter how wrong you are, you can always victimize yourself based on your appearance and still get away with it. On IMDb, Sierra Burgess is a Loser has a rating of 5.8 out of 10, which is even higher than Tall Girl, and I'm actually surprised because not only are both of these movies bad, but Sierra Burgess is a Loser is more problematic. I'm actually surprised that it has a higher rating. But if we go to the audience reviews, they completely agree with me as well. There's all 1 out of 10 reviews, some 2 out of 10, but nothing higher. Someone said, sometimes good things happen to terrible people. That is the real message of this movie. Absolutely terrible storyline. They want you to feel for the protagonist, but in reality, she's a terrible person. Seriously, how is this trying to be spun in the positive light? Which I totally agree with. I feel like if this movie showed Sierra Burgess not being the protagonist, we weren't supposed to feel bad for her, and if they showed her facing the consequences, this could have been a cool storyline. But instead, they took it to the rom-com side and tried to make us feel bad for her and tried to have this stupid, fake love story between her and Jamie. Another user said, catfishing is wrong, don't romanticize it. Sierra's character is a self-absorbed, smarty-pants character with absolutely nothing going on for her. At no point in the movie you root for her to win over her love interest. Deceiving someone into thinking you are someone is simply wrong and in no way should be romanticized. By the way, Sierra is just as shallow as Veronica or anyone else. The only reason why she's into the guy is because he sent a picture of him right off the bat. Would she react differently if he looked like a catalog model? I definitely think so. So first of all, the only thing I disagree about this review is that Noah Centineo is not a catalog model. First of all, okay. Second of all, I think that they were trying to show that she just wanted male attention. I don't think it was because she thought he was hot. She just saw that a boy texted her, so she took advantage of that, even though she knew that it wasn't for her. Also, I want to talk about Veronica. Obviously, she's supposed to be the stereotypical mean girl, but they do show that she has a rough family life, and she has the most character development in the entire movie. Not only does she become nice to Sierra, but she leaves her popular group and fixes all the problems she has with her mom, thereby making her a better person. But still, she's shown as the mean girl in the end, and we're still supposed to root for Sierra when there's more character development for Veronica, and Veronica didn't even do anything bad. No way did someone say good acting on a review. That is so sad. The acting sucks, by the way, if you haven't seen it. It is so bad. Literally so bad. No one in this movie is good at acting. The only person who's decent is Sierra's English teacher and Veronica. That's it. This movie had a lot of hype when it first came out because Noah Centineo was in it, and he just starred in To All the Boys I've Loved Before, which, by the way, if you've ever read the book, you know that Netflix ruined it. They ruined it with the movie. All three of the books were amazing when I was like grade 8, grade 9. I used to live by those books. And honestly, I still think they're really good. I love the characters in that book. But Netflix did ruin it. They added a lot of their own elements and they kind of whitewashed it in a way. The whole book is supposed to be about Lara Jean figuring out her love life, but also dealing with the fact that her mother passed away and trying to hold on to her culture and all her morals. But nope, Netflix forgets about that and just focuses on Noah Centineo. And even though Peter is a main character, the book is about Lara Jean. It's supposed to be Lara Jean and her life, but Netflix is profiting off of Noah Centineo, so they made it about Peter. Okay, enough talk about Sierra Burgess is a loser because she is one. Let's talk about the dreaded kissing booth. Although this movie does have some problematic undertones near the end of the movie, which we'll talk about, it's kind of harmless. I mean, except for the fact that it doesn't have any interesting characters, any character development, or even a solid storyline. The movie starts with a cliche montage of the protagonist Elle, played by Joey King, growing up with her best friend Lee. Lee has an older brother named Noah, played by Jacob Elordi, who Elle likes, but she can't do anything about it because her and Lee made a set of rules as kids, one of them being relatives are off limits. Aren't they almost 18? Why are they still following the same rules that they made when they were 7? This relative rule is also very unfair because Lee has a good-looking older brother, while Elle has a nose-picking 7-year-old brother. Near the end of the movie is when I become baffled. Lee finds out that Elle and Noah are together in secret and has one of the funniest big boy tantrums that I've ever seen in my life. Keep in mind that the scene was supposed to be the emotional climax, but I was too busy laughing at Lee's ugly crying face. Both of the brothers fight over who gets to control Elle and she thinks it's cute and protective, which it's not. This movie was very hard to get through and definitely a waste of time. So the reason why I think it's so problematic is because they normalize the fact that two boys are trying to control her in everything she does. Her boyfriend is trying to control her by not letting her hang out with anyone, and he beats up any guy who even looks at her, and Lee tries to control her from even talking to her brother. Like, yeah, I get it. I mean, it's kind of awkward to be dating your brother, but at the end of the day, if that's your best friend, you should be happy about who they love. You should be happy for them. But nope, he states, let me actually find the quote for it. Okay, so I can't find the quote, but let me tell you guys something very, very surprising. I went on the Kissing Booth IMDb, and they literally have like 8 out of 10 reviews. What is this garbage movie, and why is it getting so many good, positive reviews? This movie is so bad. It's literally not funny. It's not romantic. It's not cute. Elle, the main character, is literally so boring. She has no personality. She's the most average character ever. Keep in mind, when I first saw this movie, it came out in 2018, so that's when I first watched it. And that was the first time I saw Jacob Elordi on screen. And since this was the first movie I saw from him, I thought he sucked at acting. I thought he was so bad. But if you've seen Euphoria, which Jacob Elordi is also in, he plays Nate Jacobs, you know that he is an exceptional actor. He is so good. So yeah, that's what I was thinking about when I watched The Kissing Booth again the other day when I was writing the script for this, that Netflix just didn't give him a good outlet to show his talent. Either he was born for the role of Nate Jacobs, or just The Kissing Booth and all these dumb movies are just not his vibe, and that's not where he can showcase his talent. Because he plays Nate Jacobs in Euphoria, who is supposed to be the antagonist, obviously. He is abusive to his girlfriend. He grew up pretty rough and with high expectations from his family, and he does something really bad to one of the good characters, Jules. And he's just supposed to be like psychotic in the show, and he does a really good job doing that. He literally makes you hate him, which is a good thing when it comes to acting, because that means he sold his character. And when I found out that there was not only Kissing Booth 2, but they also made Kissing Booth 3, I was very disappointed, and also I felt bad for Jacob Elordi because he has to do 2 more of these garbage movies where he could be signing more projects to show how good he is at acting. But Netflix has him on a leash right now, so obviously he has to comply. And speaking of exceptional actors, let's talk about someone who's not one. Once again, our boy Noah Centineo is back for another horrible rom-com. This time, he's joined with Ali from Austin and Ali, that really bad Disney show we watched as kids when nothing else was on, and Miss Veronica Lodge from the cinematic masterpiece that is Riverdale. I'm just kidding. It's so bad. Right off the bat, just from the cast alone, you know this is going to be a cringe fest, and boy, does it sure live up to that expectation. So, this movie, The Perfect Date, is probably the least relevant out of all the movies that I listed out, and you might not have heard of it, but after listening to this podcast, I recommend that you check it out, only because I want you to feel the same pain that I felt while watching this movie. Anyways, I will give it props for trying to give Allie's character Celia some character development. They decided to make her a I'm not like other girls girl. She wears boots, a leather jacket, listens to vinyl records, and let's not forget, she holds open her own doors. She's such a cool girl. The thing about Celia's character is there's nothing wrong with liking vinyl records or whatever, but the problem is that she puts down other girls in order to make herself look better. For example, Shelby, played by Miss Veronica Lodge, she calls her shallow and stuck up and a rich snob, but she says that she's not like that, so she's automatically better, which obviously she's not, because why are you comparing yourself to other women to make yourself feel better? Which is a big problem, and we should not be doing that. The whole explanation for her hard exterior is she's too afraid to open up to people. Wow, I didn't see that one coming. What a shocker. All this talk about Celia, I forgot about the other 2 leads. Noah as Brooks, and Veronica Lodge as Shelby. Brooks launches an app made for girls who need dates to certain events where they can choose how they want him to be, thereby being the perfect date. He becomes a perfect date for cool girl Celia because she doesn't have a date to the dance and her cousin doesn't want to take her. Brooks designs this app because he needs money in order to get to Yale because he doesn't want to go to the tacky community college that his dad wants him to go to. So when he takes Celia to her date, he ends up meeting the hollow mean girl Shelby, who obviously brings nothing to the table. I think she has like 15 lines in the entire movie. This movie is so painfully boring. It literally offers absolutely nothing. In the end, Brooks realizes he likes Celia and not Shelby, and they get together in the end. I know, crazy, you didn't expect that. Just kidding, it's totally predictable. The fact that some people are giving this movie a 9 out of 10 review is so mind-blowing because, like, I get it's not, like, horrible compared to the other movies, but it's still bad. I mean, Netflix should definitely increase Noah Centineo's paycheck because they make him work a lot. All of their movies star him, and he's not even a good actor. Like, I'd be feeling bad for him and Jacob Elordi. Although Jacob Elordi's a good actor and Noah Centineo was not, they're literally, Netflix is abusing them at this point. So yeah, if you enjoyed any of these movies, then hit me up because I will give you a good list of movies to watch instead of these painfully boring movies. And I know, I understand that some of these movies are not targeted towards an audience like me and more like an audience of 13-year-old girls, but at the end of the day, it's still a movie and we have the right to critique it. And my critique is that they all suck. So Netflix should either step up their game or stop making these horrible movies. So yeah, everyone, today we've learned that Netflix is really bad at making original teen movies with no interesting characters, lack of storyline, or problematic undertones. All of these movies continue to disappoint audiences. That being audiences over 13 years old. So, if you enjoyed this episode of my podcast, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're watching or listening to this on YouTube, or follow me on Spotify if you're listening to it on there. Also, follow me on Instagram and let me know what other things you want me to talk about. Even if you want to be featured on the podcast, let me know. I will definitely be doing that. And I hope you enjoyed. So thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!